This table that I'm standing behind on our Studio 10 set is fantastic, but what you can't tell at home is that there's plenty of scratches on it. If only we had gotten a table cover for it. That's what today's segment is about with Barrow's Protecting Your Investment. Great selection of dining tables here, Tom, at Barrow Fine Furniture, but if you want to put a lot of money into a dining table, you don't want it to get scratched up. Crazy cousin Tom will come over, just be throwing stuff around like you do. You don't want that to happen.
You don't, Joe. When you buy and invest in a dining room, and they're very expensive, Joe, they come with a semi-protected top, so that if you had water in this glass and you put it down and you had a little bit of water drain here, as long as you get that right up, you're going to be okay. But you and I both know, Joe, that doesn't happen.
Does not happen.
That glass sits there, Joe. Also, people like to, instead of picking a plate up and moving it, they like to move it across. What does that do, Joe? It scratches it.
Scratches the surface. And we're just scratching the surface when it comes to table pads.
We are, Joe. This, Joe, is a table pad. So when you buy a dining room, your brand new dining room, Joe, and if you want to be sure that you don't, this table will always look like this. When you have people over, Joe, you put your table pad out.
All right, show us how it works.
This table pad, Joe, comes, as you can see right here, in a multitude of top covers, backing colors, and you can get very contemporary, Joe, just like that. But most people, certainly, Joe, use a tablecloth over this.
Oyster, pretty fancy.
That's exactly right, Joe.
Yep.
That would be what you would get, Joe, I'm quite sure.
Definitely.
The way this table works is all manufacturers have patterns, and this comes from a company called Ohio Table Pad. They're not the only table pad company, but they're one of the best. You give them the pattern number of your table, they cut this exactly, including the fillers, Joe.
Okay.
Including the fillers. And it goes on somewhat like this. And as you can see, Joe, and that's not this thick like natural, Joe. This is just a sample. But you can get anything in the world on this. It is not going to hurt this at all. Your tabletop remains beautiful. And that is the way, Joe, you will preserve your beautiful tabletops for years and years and years to come.
Protecting your investment.
Exactly right, Joe.
I think the only bad thing about today's segment, Tom, was my great reference earlier to scratching the surface. It was one of the cheesiest in our Barrow Fine Furniture history.
I'm afraid you're right, Joe. That's why I didn't comment on that.
But you can come and comment on these fantastic tables and protect it with a custom table pad here at Barrows. Thanks a lot, Tom.
Thank you, Joe.